This meeting is now called to order.
Good evening. The Middletown Township Public Library is a civic institution that provides materials, ideas, information, technology, and cultural opportunities to enrich, empower, and educate. The September 18th meeting of the Middletown Public Library of Trustees is called to order. Adequate notice of this meeting was published in the Asbury Park Press on January 29th and the Independent on January 30th and posted in the library and at Town Hall on September 13th in accordance with the Public Open Meetings Act. Roll call. Mr. Siebert?
Present.
Mr. Monahan?
Here.
Ms. Breen? Here. Mr. Nelson?
Here.
Mr. Cordiano?
Here.
Ms. Wilson? Mr. Shivians?
Here.
Mr. Kansas?
Present.
Mr. Fiore? Also present, Mr. McCumba?
Here.
And Ms. Latona. Flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public session on agenda items, statements of public. Executive session resolution.
Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 1046, allows for the exclusion of the public from a portion of a meeting when certain matters might be in danger of the public interest or risk deprivation of individual rights are discussed, and the Board of Trustees in Middletown Township Public Library which to discuss the following matters in non-public closed session meeting, resulting in discussion being made in public when a proper conclusion has been reached and there is no longer need for confidentiality. Any pending or anticipated litigation or contract negotiations other than collective bargaining contract negotiations in which board is or may become party to, or any matter falling within attorney-client privilege to the extent confidentiality is required in order for an attorney to exercise his or her ethical duties as attorney. Now, therefore, the board will be holding a closed executive session immediately in this conference room located in Middletown Township Public Library, New Jersey. It is anticipated that the closed session will not last longer than 15 minutes. Action may be taken during the public portion of the meeting following the recess of the executive session. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public session on agenda items. The board encourages public participation. Individuals wishing to address the board shall be recognized by the presiding officer and shall give their names, addresses, and group, if any, that they represent. Each speaker is asked to speak no longer than 5 minutes and limit their comments to the items on the meeting agenda. The board may not respond to questions during the public participation portion.
That being said,
Oh, and the board asks that everyone shut their cell phones off during the meeting.
would anyone like to speak? Someone?
Is the mic on?
Melanie Unger, Voucher, and McCoft. Tonight I wanted to talk about a letter that the library board wrote to Mayor Scharfenberger on June 3rd, 2010, over 3 years ago. This letter was available to the public on the library's website up until this past month, when it was conspicuously removed, perhaps because of the light it sheds on the mismanagement of the township with regards to handling of library funds. In this letter, the library board was asking the township to explain some factors key to the library's finances. First, they asked about the release of the mandated appropriation that they were about a year late in receiving. They wrote, when will the unencumbered $62,283 of 2008 mandated funding be released to the library? The library's approved 2010 budget anticipated the utilization of this amount as a partial makeup of the $185,700 diminution of library funding from the prior year. That sounds very familiar. With the May 2013 discovery of unencumbered money from 2011, this board should have defined protocol for reviewing the audit and ensuring the money is made available to the library. The treasurer, Mr. Siviak, should know his role in this process. He had no answer to this issue in July's board meeting when a member from the public asked. It's our money, we need an explanation as to why the money is outstanding for so long after year end, sitting in the township bank account but not reported and updated on the financial reporting system available to the library. Second, the library board asked in this letter about how the township calculates the pension and health care costs. They wrote, the board and library director need to understand the assumptions and calculations for the pension and health care accruals and expenditures. They had asked what the formula was, an answer that took the township 2 years, almost to the day, to provide when the township wrote on June 7, 2012 that the insurance and pensions charged were based on the library's budgeted salaries being 8% of the total township budgeted amount of salaries. And when the public asked for more detail about how the chargebacks were calculated, this board didn't answer. They blankly stated to the public that the Finance Committee has reviewed the chargebacks and they are satisfied. Third, the board asked when the library would get credit for employee deductions toward health care. The letter states, in labor negotiations with its union for the contract commencing in 2007, the board won a groundbreaking provision requiring a 2% employee contribution to staff benefits. The board has long awaited to learn how this employee payroll deduction is accounted in relation to the payroll and benefits charged to the library. These issues are so repetitive. Even into this year, 7 years later, we are just hearing at the last regular board meeting that Township CFO, Mr. Travesty, is calculating a credit for this year's contributions. And what about the prior years? Fourth, the board asked the township how they calculate the administrative charges to the library. In June 2010, there was a balance of $77,291.40 in this account from 2009 that the library wanted reconciled. 6 months after the year ended, they had to ask for this money? Does anybody see a pattern here? Here we are, over 3 years later, and this board has not held the township accountable for holding back the appropriation money, using unfair and unclear calculations for charging benefits and administrative costs, and not reducing the library's premiums for employee contributions. I've heard several residents ask about when the township is going to make the parking lot improvements, but I've never heard an update in these meetings. This was promised over 2 years ago when the funds were transferred. It's time for this library board to do some real work to ensure that the library appropriation money is spent efficiently and on true library expenses. The public demands the right to know, down to the penny, what it costs to operate this library. The board should be agreeing to a forensic audit of at least the last 5 years to look for irregularities in the way the township has charged the library, and this forensic audit should be performed by an independent auditor, one that does not do any audit work for the township or the township's own audit. Mr. Fiore loves to repeat that the township has been subsidizing the library for years. This letter and the funds transfer of $499,000 in 2011 indicate just the opposite. That is the library that has been subsidizing the township. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak?
Yes. Yes, sir.
David told us that anyway.
It's a good executive.
And then we're into executive session and open session is ordered.
My name is Margaret Thorpe, but I live on Lake Road. I have a question. What is Miss O'Neill's status?
Would you like me to respond? The board can't comment on any personnel matter, any staff matter like that. So I'm going to not instruct the board, but strongly recommend to the board and
So
to
you're
the
going to
president
obey the issue?
that you not answer the question and not comment on any question dealing with personnel matters. That's my advice.
Okay. For the record, I want to thank Susan O'Neill for her courage and her service to this town. if she's been released, or whatever you've done, this is a travesty. Having lived in Middletown for over 46 years, in more recent years, I've observed the total lack of regard and respect shown to the residents of this community by the condescending individuals that serve on this township committee and many others in administration, like this library board, appointed by this township committee. The incompetence that may or does exist in handling finances in this community, the lack of proper oversight and accounting for funds, and the efforts to destroy the reputations of distinguished individuals such as Randall Gabrielle and Susan O'Neill, as they are made scapegoats for the deficient, defective practices of township government, is disgusting. Clearly, politics has become a form of tyranny, invasive, destructive, and totally void of decency and morality. Does anyone in this township administration or those on the library board have any shame? Are you all puppets of a dictatorial regime determined to dominate and control all funding for our schools, our library, and our government, regardless of the law? This is not a democracy at work. It's a totalitarian dictatorship whose behavior is absolutely reprehensible. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? Showing that no one else from the public would like to speak, we'll now move on to the rest of our agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I request that we postpone the approval of the minutes for August. I didn't get to them, and I think I have 90 days to submit them.
So moved.
We don't know. I don't think we can move. They're not prepared, ready? They're not ready to go, so we're just not going to move to accept them.
Correct.
Okay.
The next item is the 2013 financial report.
Is there any questions or comments? Any questions or comments on the
Finance, as I indicated at Finance Committee meeting, I think we should be certainly requesting of the Township Finance Office to get the spending that is being made on our behalf on items such as for the 539. It's quite obvious that payments are being made, but they're not being shown on the statements that we're getting from the township. And as a result, our financial statements are reflecting the appropriate amounts.
So noted. Any other comments or questions? I'll entertain a motion.
So who's going to ask that? You, Bob? You're going to ask the township to give us these figures?
I will stop and see.
Are there any questions on the checks or anything? Nothing?
Motion to accept the
All the financials?
financial.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Mr. Seaver?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
No, on the proviso that we get adequate information.
Mr. McKansas?
Yes.
Mr. Shivia?
Yes.
Mr. Guayama?
Yes.
Mr. Monahan?
Excuse me to ask a question. I'm a little confused in terms of the request for the information and Mr. Nelson's no vote. Is there information that, I'm not sure of the sequence here. If we approve the financial report tonight, does that then remove the request for the information?
I don't think so. I think it's maybe just the format, we're not getting,
Right.
Mr. Nelson's worried that are concerned that maybe there's some numbers there that, I don't know if it's just with this report or with all reports.
With all reports.
So I think
we
it's
should
more
be
of
getting,
I think it's more of a formatting, structural, maybe a different way of reporting as opposed to not approving this particular report.
Right.
But I understand.
Right. That's, I want to make sure that was clear, that doesn't go to the merits of this particular report. It just is as a broader practice, we're not getting the information we came from the town.
I think that's what he's saying.
I mean, we know there are amounts that being spent on our behalf that we're not getting the information on a current basis.
And I think the president indicated that he was going to inquire to the township CFO, Mr. Seibert, is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, so the president will inquire from the CFO, are those numbers being reflected on the reports that are being given? Correct?
Correct.
Good.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Breen?
I'm going to go along with Larry and say no, also on the basis that we want to get this information.
Motion passes.
President's report? Oh, I'm sorry, correspondence? I just have the NJ newsletter you can pass around. And, okay. Copy of it. And there was correspondence sent in, actually Megan had given us a copy of correspondence that you can see regarding that they love our webpage. It's nice to have that. That's it for correspondence. President's report? I'm sorry.
The Finance Committee will be meeting to start looking at thinking and talking about.
Could you speak up?
I apologize. The Finance Committee will be meeting in the near future to start looking at a budget for next year. And we have some adjustments to make tonight, which we discussed earlier. That will be it. New business.
New business. Megan, do you want to start off?
Yes.
Sure. Yes.
I'm the head of Borrower Services. My name is Megan Lionecki. Here tonight to talk to you about COHA, which is our Integrated Library System, or ILS. It's the main business tool that we use to keep track of patron accounts, fines, all of the transactions that we do with circulation and checking in and out materials, and any materials acquisitions that we get. COA is an open source tool, which means that it's not owned proprietarily by our vendor. Our vendor is Bywater. We've been using this tool for the past 4 years. For the first 2 years, we used a company called PTFS, and now we're using Bywater for the past 2 years. And we've been assessing all of our IT systems in the library, including COHA. Our current contract with Bywater, who hosts our catalog on their servers and services, does any service requests or maintenance that we need, ends on September 30th of this year. We thought that we had until the end of December, but it turns out that we have until the end of September. And currently the system is not working as well as it should, and it makes our interactions with the staff very difficult because we have a lot of system glitches, our data isn't always accurate, we have a lot of problems with locations or statuses of items, and while we can do our normal business, it doesn't function the way that it should. 2% of libraries in New Jersey use COA, and only 4% in the country use COA. Whereas there are some other systems like Polaris or Cersei Dynex that are more prevalent. 40% of the libraries in New Jersey use Polaris, and 29% of the libraries in New Jersey use a Cersei Dynex product. Those are proprietary systems. So what we're now faced with is the decision of whether to continue with COA, which doesn't work as well as we would like it to, or to switch systems entirely, which would be kind of a large undertaking, but we would probably get a better product. The first thing that I would like your permission to do would be to contact Fiore and tell them that we don't want our contract to automatically renew. As of October 1st, if we don't notify them before September 30th, the contract automatically renews for another 2 years. So we'd like permission to not automatically renew for the next 2 years. And then what we would need, in order to give us time to gather more information, would be to extend the contract with Fiore for another 3 months to get us through the end of the year so that we can make an appropriate decision. So that would be the second thing. And the third thing that I would like to ask you for is permission to do a request for proposal to get quotes from Fiore and other COA vendors and also proprietary vendors to look at other systems to see what it would cost for us to migrate to a new system and what benefit it would be if we did choose a different system.
How difficult is the migration?
It's a fairly large undertaking.
Because we migrated away from Cersei Dynex.
Yes.
And now we're going to migrate back to Cersei Dynex.
Yes. Well, just to give you an example of what we're facing, East Brunswick, which is kind of comparable to Middletown in terms of population and the items that it circulates, they went to COHA in 2009. They switched everything over, and a year later, they switched back to Cersei Dynex. For that year, the system was so hard for them to use that they made the decision to spend the money, take the time, and do the migration. And I think that's, quite honestly, I think that's the point where we're at now with the system.
What's the cost difference between staying with Fiore and COA and going back to Cersei Dynex?
That's a little complicated because open source is much cheaper, but the long-term costs of the staff costs that we're taking up here at the library kind of balance it out. So you're either going to pay up front to have someone else take care of it, or you're going to pay to have the staff here maintain it. And since our IT department consists of 2 people, only one of whom is a programmer, I don't really think that we're set up to get the kind of programming service that we need.
When did you migrate away from Cersei Dynex initially?
We migrated away in 2009, and we were using a very outdated tool. They no longer supported that tool, so we had to migrate away. So we would have either had to upgrade to a new Cersei Dynex product or use something else.
What was the reason for not upgrading back then?
They decided that the cost was too high of going to Cersei Dynex, and the theory behind open source is really wonderful because with open source you get more control over the product because it's a community-based tool. So anyone who uses COA would be able to do programming, give it to the community, and it would be cheaper that way. But it depends on what the community is doing. Their timeline doesn't always match up with ours. What we want developed isn't always what they want developed. So sometimes the cost can be really low, but a lot of larger library systems use COA to their advantage, but they have a large IT department in-house to do the specific programming that they need.
Did you estimate the IT needs when we switched to COA in 2009?
I think we might have, yes, because It was based on the idea that we were going to have that one IT programmer that we have do a lot of the work. And for what we need, because we have so many items circulating, it just turned out that it was too big of a workload. And quite frankly, the customer service that we got from PTFS and now from Bywater is not what I would call wonderful.
So like Megan, when you put in a ticket to them, right? Because I know that you're very frustrated that there's something that you want to fix in the program. How long does it take to fix?
I just got one ticket closed today. It took a month to close.
And will they extend the contract for 3 months?
I don't know. I talked to them this morning. I talked to their operations manager about a different matter. And I told her that we were in a state of change and that we would need to contact them in the future. So I think that they would be willing to do that because they've been working with us for 2 years now. So I think if we gave them the opportunity, they would.
Probably not want to lose us.
Yes, exactly. Even if it's for another 3 months.
Yeah, I think they would extend it for 90 days.
Do you think 90 days is enough time to get the quotes on the old systems and do a good comparative analysis?
Yeah, we have a lot of information already. I've looked at other quotes that other libraries have gotten from, just to do some basic research on Polaris and Cersei Dynex. And they should be able to put together a quote for us very quickly and give us the information that we need and so that we can bring that information to you to make a decision before the end of the year.
And COA doesn't do the credit cards, right? It's not compatible to our system?
No, that's another problem. One of the things that is in development right now is the opportunity to use PayPal to do credit card payments, but we don't really know how long that development is going to take. So for the foreseeable future, we still don't have that capability.
What about the Square?
That's something that we looked into, but we have never quite got around to implementing. And that would require us to have that go to a PayPal account, but it wouldn't link directly with COA. So it would take staff time. That's the problem with COA, is that it would take staff time to do that extra step of lining up the credit card payments with individual accounts so that we could remove their fines. There's no direct pathway.
Whereas the other systems have that.
The other systems have
Takes it right away to their account.
So it would make the staff work a lot easier. It would make the patrons a lot happier because we have gotten a lot of complaints about COA. It is not user-friendly. And I think it would make a lot of people much happier to maintain a system that just works seamlessly.
Any questions?
I don't think we should.
Certainly move ahead.
By way of motion.
Motion?
I have a motion.
Is there any other question?
It's called Bywater.
Yes.
So I can just go through the motion one at a time. That's okay. So it sounds like we need a motion to formally notify Bywater that the library does not wish its agreement to be automatically renewed on October 1st, 2013. Is that correct? Okay. So that's one motion. So go ahead and move that.
Second.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Mr. Seaver?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Vacantis?
Yes.
Mr. Cheviot?
Yes.
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Ms. Breen?
Second motion will be a motion to extend the Bywater agreement for a period, so we run out October 1st, or is it?
Yeah, it runs out September 30th.
Okay, so for a period commencing, September 30th through and including December 31st, 2013, 3 months.
Motion.
Second.
Mr.
I have a
Nelson?
question for you.
Yes.
We extended it for 3 months, so we have to be up and running with the new system on January 1st?
That's the idea.
Okay, so we got a lot to do, and, right, how long does it take to do the migration? Is it something that's done in a day, a week, a month?
It can be done in a day.
Okay, so we effectively could, implement this in December.
Yes, what we would do is have the old system shut down in the middle of the night when the library is not open, and then the next morning we would be up and running with the new system.
Wow.
The first step, Mike, though, is we have to to get the RFP out to all the
Right,
vendors.
That's fine. That's my
Because
third
we're gonna
motion.
need three, we're gonna need three and then be
I
able to
want
go
to start at the end
bid
of
them.
mine.
Oh, yeah?
Start at the end of mine.
And come back?
Back.
Back up.
A little easier.
So the third motion is,
Wait, we need.
Oh, no, we did the second
roll call.
motion, yeah.
No, we did. We got Brock and Larry,
Okay.
but we need a roll call vote. Mr. Seaver?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Kansas?
Yes.
Mr. Shivia? Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Ms. Breen? Motion passed. Next motion.
I need a motion to solicit a request for proposals with respect to, is it circulation management systems or what?
ILS, the integrated library system.
And that's the generic name for the software, with respect to a ILS system.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second?
Mr. Seaver?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Kansas?
Yes.
Mr. Shivia?
Yes.
Mr. Guadiana?
Yes.
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Ms. Breen? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Megan.
Is there any other questions for Megan?
You're authorized.
You're authorized, Tom.
Okay.
Thank you for your presentation.
Yes, thank you. So the next thing we have is new business. Under new business, we have NJLA institutional membership. The library's always had this membership. It's a very good membership to have. In it, we also get free solicitation for positions available at the library. We can post them for free, so that's one of the perks. And I believe one person goes to the membership. Yeah, they advertise the free job hotline, the program voucher for one staff member to attend one fee-based and JLA program, and the subscription to the newsletters are free, and recognition on their website for our library. So it's a good membership for us to have, and I think that it's something that the board should consider to renew. We renew it every year.
How much is it?
$280.
Sure.
Yes?
Is that a motion?
Is that a motion,
That is
Mr.
a
Kansas? A second? Oh, Ms. Green. Mr. Seaver?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Kansas?
Yes.
Mr. Shivia?
Yes.
Mr. Guadiana?
Yes.
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Motion passed.
The next item on the agenda is purchasing resolution 2013-32, and it is for replacement of the antennas. The antennas read our self-checkout system. They're outdated. They've been, the antennas that we purchased last were in 2004. Their expected shelf life is approximately 9 to 10 years. We're again coming up to that. In getting the 5 new antennas for the front of our services for the self-checkout, and 2 additional in the back, so that the library assistants that do all the check-in could do it more accurately and efficiently, would really be a plus. I mean, the system is running pretty slow at this point because it's reached life expectancy. So if you look at the proposal that I have here from TechLogic, and you look at your resolution for TechLogic, it will show that we can have the funds to do it out of the 245 account, and also that if we purchase them, it's $1,950 per antenna, and for 7 antennas, it would be $14,650. I'm trying to find out from TechLogic if any of our licenses that we previously have now, if they would still be effective for us, so that we don't have to purchase 7 new licenses. I have not heard back from them yet. If we do have to purchase 7 new licenses, it is $2,000 per license for a circuit reader license. So the total would be $28,650. But it is something that we do need, and under maintenance.
You can use that, right?
Yeah, we do. So that's the recommendation.
Motion to accept.
For a second?
And what account will it be coming out?
I believe it would be coming out of the 245 So, and with the, I don't know if, I don't know if any line item budgets have to be adjusted for that to take place. I did not look at that because I was not part of that process at the time, so.
245 account is, well, they should do is not that much there.
As far as the licenses go, do we have the original agreement with them as far as the life of the hardware is 10 years, but the license should be permanent?
And I'm not sure how many, I wasn't here in 2004, so I tried to go back in the files for the past 2 days and try to see how many licenses. I did, today,
So
right.
you didn't hear back from them?
I have not heard back from them yet, so I did put a formal email into the president of the company who did the proposal and the RFP, and responded to the RFP that I had put out, and waiting for his response to see whether or not you need to purchase.
Is this the same company that
Yeah,
you purchased?
it is the same company. So my guess would be hopefully that we wouldn't have to purchase 7, we may have to purchase 3, or 5, I don't know, I'm not really sure.
And as far as the number of licenses, since the technology improves to the point where you only need as many licenses as the antennas issued in the past, that would be...
You still need the antennas for the amount of computers that you have out there, so we have 5 checkout systems out in the front, so you need 5 antennas, and then the 2 in the back. And in 2014, there are still other, computers that need antennas that would really help to speed up things also, but are not right now that we need them. It was 3 or 4 more. I would say that we probably need them. But
The
the other
systems
things
are
that
integrated
things
into
are
the
up.
cellular system that she's...
Yes, the antennas are integrated into any ILS system.
Now, is it possible for us to hold off on this purchase until we decide going in another direction with that system? Because
That's up to the board if they choose to
compatibility
take this
issues
one.
or anything like that as far as integration?
Sure, I mean,
If we're gonna spend a lot of money to change vendors again, we might want to hold off on adopting and spending another $28,000 at this point until we know what's going on with the ILS system, right?
And survive.
I think that the system is fragile right now. I do feel that way, but I mean, that's up to the board if they choose to postpone it. And I mean, if we're talking till the end of the year, I mean, I would think that we'd be able to.
Is it a function of the system being bad, or is it the antennas that are bad? Because from what I was understanding, I had a, but from what I was understanding from the presentation.
But what she's talking about the product that we use that actually processes the system.
No, I
She's
understand
talking about something different.
the software and the hardware,
I mean, they integrate with one another, so it's up to the board, Rob. I mean, what.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
It's just that I would prefer to see a demo of what we're going to do before we decide to spend another $1. Just to say, let's buy new antennas and then you find out we're going in another direction and then you spend 28 grand.
Do you already know the prices for the agreement?
Yes, I do.
So you got the pricing on the way?
I have it in the RFP.
Okay. And then we just want to make sure it's compatible with the new system, huh? Do you think we could buy for 30 to 60 days? Or is it too gradual breakdown?
No, I don't think that I think that it's a slow process. I mean, I don't want to put, I have an ANCV. I don't know if, I think it can be fine until the end of the year. But I'm not.
Let's move forward with that one, 30 days, 60 days, coordinate.
The issue comes up.
Look at it.
Just want to get all the ducks in a
Table
row.
to the next meeting?
The motion.
The motion to table to the next meeting?
Make a motion to table to the next meeting.
Second.
Okay?
And I'd like to request at the next meeting, if you could, if you have any kind of written,
I have it here for you to look at.
thank you.
All in favor?
I can scan it and email it to you, Dave.
Yeah.
All in favor?
And the only item that we need to add to, well, we have 2 items that we have to tonight. Great. Is Resolution 2013-33, and it is to increase the amount of previous Resolution 2013-12, which legal fees have exceeded 12.5, which is what it was. And so now, sorry, Mr. McCumber, and we need to increase that amount. And my suggestion would be, which I'm sure we're not going to reach that amount, but to the end of the year would be to increase it to $10,000 to the end of the year.
I'll do my best. Make sure the eventuality doesn't occur.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Can you repeat that? Can you just repeat the resolution?
Yeah.
Sure, I mean, I can read it. Whereas the specialized services of an attorney are required for consultation on labor and general contractors, the continuity of service is required for contracts and issues that are unresolved, and whereas legal services and fees are exceeded Resolution 2013-12 in the amount of 12.5, therefore be it resolved that R. McCumber will continue to serve as legal counsel under the same pricing structure of $135 per hour, and legal services for 2013 will be increased in the amount of $10,000 for the remainder of the year. Do we have a second?
Second.
Who's the first?
Rob.
Thank you.
So I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Siebert?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Vicansis?
Yes.
Mr. Shivia? Mr. Coriano? Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Ms. Breen? Yes. The next new item on the agenda that I did want to discuss with the board is that the Borough Services Department is down 2 pages. We're not going to hire 2 new pages, but also we had a person that retired, Ginny Skolkovich, and she is retired as of October 1st, and she used her sick time while she was caring for her husband. So as of October 1st, we are down 3 people in the Borough Services Department. We had one of the part-time people become full-time on a temporary basis to cover both shifts and to have coverage in that department, which is one of the busiest departments we have yet. But as of September 30th, the part-time person will go, the full-time person, temporary full-time person will go back to part-time. And so therefore, if I could make a recommendation that the board consider us replacing that part-time position in Borough Services, and we have plenty of applicants and applications to go through. So, it's up to the board if they want to fill that part-time position again. There's no benefits involved, and like I said, we're not going to hire the other 2 pages.
Any discussion? Any questions, any discussion?
The move is strictly,
It's to proceed with, to replace that person that retired. So to hire
effectively, that's what.
Hiring account. Or part-time.
a part-time, not a full-time position. We had a part-timer that we temporarily had her do full-time while she was out, but now she will go back to part-time, and if we can fill that part-time position again, that would help that department.
How many hours a week is it?
17 and a half per week.
So you're there, Maggie, with the elimination of the 2 full-time positions, the library need. Do they need this person?
The full-time position?
No, we need this part-timer?
We do need the part-timer because we have night shifts, and that person had a night shift, so we don't have coverage, and then we had to put a full-timer in. So I think they do need it because they're down, the library assistants are now doing all the check-ins in that Borough Services Department, with the pages are no longer checking into the system. So I think that it is important that that department has coverage, and if there's an overflow, that person can go to another department and cover, and when we have a lot of call-outs and stuff. So I think it's a reasonable request, but up to the
for.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Mr. Siebert,
Yes.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Kansas,
Yes.
Mr. Shivians, Mr. Coriano,
Yes.
Mr. Monahan,
Yes.
Ms. Breen.
Yes.
Thank you.
In reference to the moving line items, you want to get that report?
In addition to the movement of the $10,000 line item for legal fees, we have received an update of the charges from the township and their, my glasses on because it's so small. We have a minor adjustment to the benefits line with an increase of $9,382. And that is based upon information we're getting from the township. It is, at this point, strictly a budget item and not a final assessment. And the suggestion is within the budget that we offset that against line item for electricity, item 271. What we do is we move the categories around. So I make that recommendation to make that change to the budget.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Siebert,
Yes.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Kansas,
Yes.
Mr. Shivians,
Yes.
Mr. Coriano,
Yes.
Mr. Monahan,
Yes.
Ms. Breen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, I have a couple of motions. I need a motion to accept the letter of resignation from Susan O'Neill dated September 18, 2013.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Siebert,
Yes.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Kansas,
Yes.
Mr. Shivians,
Yes.
Mr. Coriano,
Yes.
Mr. Monahan,
Yes.
Ms. Breen.
And I also would like a motion to approve settlement agreement among the Board of Trustees, the Township of Middletown, and Susan O'Neill, also dated September 18th of 2013.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Siebert,
Yes.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Kansas,
Yes.
Mr. Shivians,
Yes.
Mr. Coriano,
No.
Mr. Monahan,
Yes.
Ms. Breen.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Motion carries.
I have a question. I noticed here it's talking about Middletown Day.
Yes, that is the 28th.
Now, last year, we consented to give the township $2,000 for the privilege of being their Middletown Day. What's happening this year? Are they making us pay again, or perhaps they're giving us a freebie? What's going on?
Is there any of our money left from last year sitting in your account somewhere?
We were an official sponsor last year.
Yes, so
So we're not-
nobody asked us about any money
It
for
is,
this year.
it is my understanding we will have Voucher.
And are they charging us again?
It will be $0,
$0.
and you are encouraged to attend if you have the time. It is the 28th, I believe it starts at noon. So if you have some time, stop by.
We
hang out for a little while.
will be selling a calendar that is jointly sponsored between the library and the Middletown Historical Society. It has beautiful sketches, historical sketches of Middletown, and the proceeds will be split between the library and the Historical Society. I think when you see them, Ms. O'Neill did a lot of work in putting it together,
It's beautiful.
and they're really,
Yeah, I remember
I
that.
did not see the final product of
It looks good.
the draft really looked terrific.
How much is it?
What are we selling?
Oh, I don't know, I never asked.
I don't remember.
I didn't ask Walter, Walter was working on it. I think
And
it
that's
just
the other
went
thing
to,
Walter did.
yeah, it just
Asked
went to print, so I don't know what the price is.
We had his usual self and doing it as, it should be a very nice calendar that both of the township and the library.
So I highly encourage you to attend if you have time. Any other comments from the board? Moving on for adjournment.
Sorry, close my thought. I'm pushing the next leg. Public session? Anybody like to speak?
I would.
Very good.
It's kind of hard to hear some of you in the back of the room, so I just wanted to ask a few questions about the things that we discussed. There was a number mentioned, 9,382. There was an increase to one line item and then you reduced another one. What was the increase to?
The increase was to healthcare, and the decrease was to electricity.
Increase was to healthcare. Aren't you supposed to be getting a decrease to that line item for a couple of things? One, fewer employees, the other was for the contributions toward healthcare. Isn't that one of the things that you're supposed to be talking to CFO Nick Casenti about to ensure that the adjustment to that line item is accurate? That you receive the adjustment?
The accuracy. Not necessarily the decrease or increase.
That's not true. That's not the students that that's on.
Ms. Boucher, correct.
Yeah, actually, that is not true. She had mentioned last week, roughly, I can't remember the exact number, but roughly 50,000 years ago, which is for a number of things. I'm not sure if that was for, I think that was for the 2% of contributions for employees. Does that ring a bell? Yeah, I think that was for contributions for employees. So has that been reflected, or is that
Yes,
still to be reflected?
Yes, it has.
Yeah, we're seeing an increase to that figure. We're not seeing a $50,000 decrease, we're seeing an increase.
The $50,000 decrease was already included in that
It was already
original calculation.
And do we know what the increase is for?
We're seeing the rise in healthcare costs.
I get fewer employees, compared to last year.
That would be correct.
Do you know what the totals are for the number of employees this year? Can you have that number available at the next meeting?
I'll do my best.
There was a total of 32 full-time last year, or maybe something less now, but kind of curious as to why that's number moving in that direction. But, also, what was there was a discussion earlier that Megan was talking about, and it's hard to understand what she was saying. One of the ILS systems, is it Bywater? B-I?
B-Y.
B-Y.
B-Y-W-H-E-R. All right, so I think I understood that conversation pretty well. It was really actually a very interesting portion she talked about. And the only last thing I wanted to comment on is, you've taken a vote tonight to accept a letter of resignation from designee, and there was also a vote to approve the settlement agreement. I believe it was a 6-1 vote, and I have to be honest, Mr. Corgiano, I think everyone in this room is very curious as to why you dissented on that, what your reasons were. If you wanted to share that, we're very curious.
My strong recommendation to everyone on the board is that we do not discuss personnel matters. I think that falls squarely within the confines of that question, but so that would be my advice.
Do not answer the question.
Okay. I guess that's it. For now. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Mr. Staff?
for Stockton, 121 Cranberry Court. I assume the Board of Trustees here hires and fires and accepts resignations de jure as a matter of juridical authority. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I'm sure in your executive sessions you heard respondents as to what went on factually. The first speaker here this evening raised the point of, not her words, but it comes down to institutional memory, the silence that this board maintains in this action that was approved tonight, resignation, whatever it was, furthers the, it's just a first draft that's incomplete. The record is not complete. Jurors, when they vote for guilty for capital offense, they have the right to speak when they're permitted by the judge and not forbidden. So I try to follow all of this too. I got the memorandums that were put out at the last meeting, and I read the newspapers and talk to some people involved. If you do not have a chronological timeline as part of the written and stored record, and it's not a first draft, it should be a comprehensive thing so that anybody who becomes a member of this board can review that matter and not have to sit here and be accused that this board in 2007, well, I suspect some of you people weren't here in 2007, so you can't say this board, as if this board present in this room now is responsible for what happened in a causal way for what happened in 2007. However, they should be able to review the record, the historical record. So I would ask that something be formal in establishing for want of a better phrase, a court record that is definitive, and so that we don't have people wondering what happened, you know, exactly and precisely, so that people are going at it, and there's no need to. You just consult the definitive record if such can be produced. I'd just like to raise the question. A lot of municipalities and school boards throughout the state are averting the Obamacare regulations that are kicking in, I guess, the first of this month coming, and certainly by the first of the new year. Is this board doing anything about reducing employees, full and part-time, and or reducing the hours of part-timers so that they fall under the 30-hour-a-week limit?
The part-time employees are 17 and a half hours a week. So
What's that?
The part-time employees are 17 and a half hours a week, so they're under the 30-hour threshold.
And do you reach, with the full-timers, a total of 50 in this library?
No, we do not.
Okay, thank you very much.
Would anyone else like to speak?
Melanie Elmford, Richard Terrace, Lincroft. I just want to correct, I just checked my notes again, that at the last meeting, Susan O'Neill, not the last, especially last regular board meeting, Susan O'Neill did say that she was speaking with Mr. Trisente, and due to the labor union agreement, that adjustments would be made to the budget, and that the library's obligation be reduced. I just put those words down. That's what she said at that time. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak? Going once, going twice. Showing that no one from the public would like to speak, we move forward on the agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion. All in favor?
Aye.